your physique, you know, whether you're male or female, genetics, right? Now some people come into this world with strong genetics, strong constitution, and they have a good life. Even if they violate it, they have a pretty decent life. But you got some other people that come into this life with weaker genetics, and depending on how weak, those are the people that end up with, you know, early in life. They have obesity, they have allergies, they have diabetes, cancer, tumors, you name it, they get it. Infections, all kinds of stuff at early ages. Now some people are maybe not as deficient and it doesn't hit them until later in life. But I'm just saying. So here's the thing. If you're eating cooked food, right? If you're eating cooked food, from this point on in your life, you just need to know scientifically, it's already been proven, documented by hundreds of doctors, hundreds of scientists. There's hundreds of books to validate what I'm saying. You can do your own research and figure it out, just like I have. In fact, I had a friend that had cancer many years ago, over 35 years ago, skin and bones, getting ready to die, giving up. I come back after a trip, 6 months later, his cancer's gone, color comes back, weight comes back, he's still here to this day. And I asked him what his secret was. He showed me the demonstration I'm going to show you. And when I saw that demonstration, I read the books. I studied it inadvertently to learn about enzyme therapy, enzyme concept, what it's all about. So I'm just saying, you eat cooked food, your body has to use more of its own enzymes to digest that cooked food, more than you remanufacture within the body. And your body becomes enzyme deficient. Once the body becomes enzyme deficient, you no longer are capable of digesting all your proteins, carbs, and fats properly and completely and thoroughly like you're supposed to. So therefore, you end up with what they call partial digestion. That means some of your proteins get digested and some of them don't. But what the undigested proteins go on that starts accumulating in your body, goes undigested, it putrefies in your system and accumulates in your system. Also, carbohydrate foods that you eat, they go undigested, they ferment. And when they ferment, that creates toxins in your body, and that accumulates in your body. Then you end up with fats that don't get digested, so you become lipase enzyme deficient, so then you can't digest fats anymore into fatty acids like you're supposed to. So that turns rancid in your body. So when that happens, it attracts parasites, viruses, bacteria, yeast, and mold. And when that happens, those little critters that I'm talking about, they live on this undigested material that I'm talking about, and they keep eating that stuff and living on that stuff. And guess what happens? They proliferate. They multiply in your system. And these little critters that I'm talking about, they also, when they're eating this waste and proliferating and multiplying, they also go to the bathroom. In their little bodies, they actually excrete waste out of their little bodies into your body. And this is something that most people on this planet, everybody on this planet needs to know that. Because most people don't know that. They don't understand that. So, if you have undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats trapped in your body, and your blood's polluted, and it has this stuff going on, from this point on, you need to know this putrefaction, fermentation, rancidification going on from undigested proteins, carbs, and fats are attracting parasites, viruses, bacteria, and yeast. They proliferate, they multiply, they excrete waste into your body, and their waste that excretes into your body, guess what? Very acidic, very smelly, and very deadly. And that's why we, as a people, get infections. That's why we have cancer, and tumors, and diabetes, and arthritis, and fibromyalgia, endometriosis, PMS, headaches, acne, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? That's the truth. That is the given truth. That's reality right there. That's really happening every day to billions of people. This is a global thing. The whole vast of everybody on this planet needs to know what I'm saying here. Because everybody on the planet, they understood what I'm saying and really understood it and was able to accept and implement these things. And really begin to realize how important it is for us to clean, detoxify our bodies and learn how to eat, how to think, and how to be powerful in our walk. These are the ones that would have a good quality life, be happy, be fulfilled, and be able to prosper in whatever they do, and have a wonderful life. And that's why I'm doing this work, because you see, I suffered. I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to be at my deathbed. But when I learned these things, and by grace, somehow I was able to ask, receive it, hear it, get it, and have the courage to do it, and have the faith to do it or whatever, and the trust to do it. I did it. And everything went away in 6 months. Never came back in 42 years. That's why when I stand here and say, I'm 5'9", I'm 160, I'm 63 years of age, and I feel great, and I'm more thankful than you could possibly imagine. If I start thinking about how grateful I am, I'll start crying in front of you, because I'll just have tears of joy, tears of just pure gratitude, So, I want to show you this, basically I want to show you this demonstration before I go any further, so you understand the efficacy of it. I need a volunteer, though. What's your first name?
Nicole.
Nicole. Hey, Nicole.
Hi.
This is cooked oatmeal cereal. If you turn this glass upside down, chances are the oatmeal will probably stick and stay up there. Yeah. See, it is. Ooh! Look, you almost caught it, but you didn't. But that's okay. That's the first time in all these years I've been doing it. I've never seen that happen. But that's okay.
Not all the way upside down.
Okay, then leave it like that. That's okay. You got enough oatmeal in there. Clean yourself. That's okay. We're going to get through this. It's all right. This is the first time in history, but that's okay.
And the oatmeal repeller.
Powerful word, because you said there's a likelihood or something like that.
Chances are.
Yeah. You should have said.
Maybe I should have removed the spoon.
No, it's okay. But you can see the oatmeal's pretty sticky, pretty gooey, and gummy, right? Point being, right? Now my turn. Right? So, what we want to show you here is this is cooked food, and there's no enzyme activity in this food that people eat every day for breakfast, Millions of people eat oatmeal cereal for breakfast. Some people call it porridge, right? So what I want to do I want to take one of the little, well, maybe I should take another one, just in case. So what I want to do is I want to show you the power of enzymes, because they're very, very important to us, more than you think. That's why when I say eat living foods, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some Lysozyme. It's a powerful enzyme. It's a superior multiple digestive enzyme. It's got 16 different kinds of enzymes in it. And what it does, basically, is we're going to put life back into the food. That's what we're going to do here. And so these are medical-grade, plant-based, full-spectrum, highly active enzymes. So I'll put an enzyme in there, and I might give you another one. But you start mixing the enzymes and the oatmeal together. Nicole? Okay. So while she's mixing the enzymes and the oatmeal together, what you're going to begin to see is that little bit of moisture that's still left in the oatmeal is just enough to activate the enzymes and begin to go through its process. So whatever proteins, carbs, and fats inside that oatmeal is going to begin to break it down into micronutrients. As it breaks it down to micronutrients, what you're going to see is it basically breaking it down, and liquefying it. That's what it's going to do. And what you're seeing right now is really the power of the enzymes in action. Because when you eat living foods, that's what happens in your stomach. You actually pre-digest your food in your stomach before it goes in the intestinal tract. And this is a really vital piece of information you want to get from this conversation. So what we just did is we just put life back into the food. We put the enzymes activity back into the food that was cooked out of the food. So when we take a few of these enzymes with our food that's been cooked, let's say, or maybe because it comes from enzyme deficient soil, like I do, it helps you do what? Pre-digest the food in the stomach before it goes in the intestinal tract like it's supposed to, normally. So normally you eat fresh fruits and vegetables or fresh seeds that are germinated and enzyme activated. Normally when people now eat oatmeal cereal that really are wise to it, they actually get the actual grain oatmeal, they soak it, they germinate it, and then they blend it up add a date or cinnamon and water to it, make it into a cereal and eat that. Now that's living food. You see what I'm saying? Different story. It hasn't been cooked. So you'll notice that just in a few moments, as Nicole was mixing the enzymes and the oatmeal together, go ahead and pour. Great job. Good job. Super. Now, Nicole, have you ever seen this before? Ever?
No.
What did you get out of what you just saw and experienced with this? What did you get?
The enzymes seem to make it more liquidy.
Okay. So you can see that the enzymes, by putting life back into the food and put the enzyme activity back in there, it did what? It digested it. It broke it down. Can you now see that the micronutrients are now more released? So the proteins in the oatmeal, whatever food it is, the enzymes break down the proteins into amino acids, fats into fatty acids, carbohydrates into glucose. That's what we just accomplished. So are you beginning to understand now that if you take a few of these enzymes with food at the same time, so when it goes into your stomach, it does that, it helps break it down and pre-digest it. So when it goes into the small intestinal tract, now it's ready for absorption. So now you're going to maximize and get more nutritional value from the food you're eating by doing that. Now the true way to do it is to take the grain itself, any seeds or nuts, soak it, germinate it, make it enzyme activated, and then bust it up and then eat it. Or chew it like that. But most people don't do that, right? Now I've been doing that for 42 years and it works quite successfully. But I'm saying, and the reason I still take enzymes with my meals is because even though I do all raw living culture foods, it's because organic food, organic soil in North America is running anywhere between 30 to 80% plus enzyme and mineral deficiencies. That's why I still consume enzymes even with my own meals, personally. Now, Nicole, do you consume fresh fruits and vegetables? Or do you,
Yeah, I'm raw vegan.
You're raw vegan?
I am, and I work here. Yeah.
Okay, great, awesome. So how long have you been doing that now?
Strictly for maybe like 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, and before that, just partially cooked, partially vegan.
Mm-hmm. And now you've switched to 100% raw for the last, X months. Do you feel better than you did before?
Yeah, definitely. I was experiencing like high blood sugar and excess weight and no energy.
And now?
Yeah, I feel.
Now you're slim and trim.
Yeah,
you
I
seem to
just
have a
feel
radiance
more
about
better.
you. You seem to be very clear and very healthy. And
Yeah.
but you're happy that
Happy
you
and energetic. Yeah.
happy and
definitely.
energetic. Boy, that's exciting to know. Just in the last 6-7 months, just by
Yeah.
going raw, living
Mhm.
foods, you're more energetic, you're slimmer,
Definitely.
you're trimmer, have more energy, you're more clear, more alert, more alive, and
And
you're
much
happy.
more sensitive if I eat cooked food or gluten or anything.
You pick up on it, like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you can sense it.
Maybe
Now-
the enzymes will help though.
Oh,
with
no
cooked
question,
food.
no
Yeah.
question. I'm not saying to eat cooked food because I don't advocate it, right? But if you're going to eat it, it's a good idea to compensate with some enzymes, put life back in. That's why we call it Lifezyme. But Nicole, thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you.
Appreciate
Great
it.
to
Is it making sense?
Yeah, it is definitely.
Awesome. Is it making sense to you guys? See, it's powerful, very simple. So my friend that had the cancer, he not only took enzymes with meals and drank a lot of fresh juices, but he took lots of enzymes throughout the day, between the meals, empty stomach, therapeutically, so it could work systemically within the body to clean and break down all that undigested material trapped in his body because he was so toxic. That's why we get sick, remember. Remember why we get sick? Because we're not digesting properly, we're not assimilating properly, we're not metabolizing properly, we're not eliminating properly, so we get backed up with all these toxins, all this undigested proteins, carbs, and fats that have putrefied, fermented, and acidified within the body, attracting parasites, viruses, bacteria, and yeast. These toxins set us up for infections, premature aging, obesity, blah, blah, blah. So now you have a better understanding what I'm talking about. That's why if you're going to incorporate the 4 principles to have a better life, great, fantastic. But beyond that, if you want to consider maybe incorporating some enzymes with your meals and all that, it's a good idea. I'm just going to go brief right through this real quick just to give you a sense of the power behind what happens when you become enzyme deficient. Okay, toxemia, when a person becomes, let's say they're eating protein foods, whether you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian. If you're eating high protein foods, like it could be garbanzo beans, it could be tofu, it could be nuts, beans, grains, whatever, but or it could be meats. But my point is that if you're eating cooked protein foods, when it goes in your system, your body will become what they call protease enzyme deficient in time, because you will use up the protease enzyme that your body secretes to digest protein into amino acids, but you'll use more than you make, and you will become protease enzyme deficient. But once that happens, and you cannot break down all your proteins into amino acids properly, you end up with this partial digestion of proteins. It putrefies and accumulates in your system. You end up with these conditions, because they've done thousands of urine analysis on people, and every time a person was protease enzyme deficient, they had these array of conditions. We're talking about bacterial, viral, yeast, fungal infections. All form of infections is a protease enzyme deficiency that has been noted. Cancer, tumors, skin problems, acne and things like that. Chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, BMS, irritable bowel syndromes, muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, endometriosis, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, hormonal imbalances, mental disorders like depression, anxiety attacks, insomnia, having a hard time sleeping at night, loss of muscle tone. These things actually show up when a person cannot break down proteins completely into amino acid chains. And this is what happens. This is what shows up. That's why it's imperative that you eat good quality, digestible, bioavailable protein. And if you have a protease enzyme deficiency, we need to take care of that deficiency. And the protein foods you eat from that point on needs to be easy, digestible, bioavailable protein. Does that make sense? I'm just saying, because I've worked with enough people over the years, and this kind of stuff just seems to disappear as soon as they start getting plenty of oxygen, plenty of good water, and digest really well, assimilate well, metabolize well, eliminate well, and get rid of the gunk out of their systems. They all seem to get well when they follow the 4 principles and take care of the deficiency. The next one is if you're used to eating cooked carbohydrates like pastas, breads, cereals, cookies, crackers, chips, whatever, pastries and all that, then what happens in the dead cooked form, no enzyme activity in cooked food, remember? So the body uses up an enzyme called amylase more than it makes. It becomes amylase enzyme deficient, and when that happens, then they end up with these conditions. See, undigested carbohydrates ferments, and when it ferments, it leads to these conditions. Allergies, respiratory disorders, inflammation of the joints called arthritis, gas, bloating, weight gain, sinus congestion, skin eruptions, and things like that. This is what shows up when they have undigested carbohydrates trapped in their system that's fermenting, causing these conditions. So when people have that deficiency going on, we address that deficiency, we put them on some good, healthy carbohydrates in a different way and take care of the deficiency, and the conditions begin to disappear. Because when you finally learn how to clean, detoxify the body, how to get rid of all that accumulation of undigested proteins, carbohydrates, and fats that's been putrefying, fermenting, or acidifying within the body, accumulating in the body, this is the food that the parasites, bacteria, blah, 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 eats. When you get rid of their food, the parasites and the bugs and the critters that I'm talking about, they die off. And when they die off, they leave. They wash out and process out of the body. And when that happens, that's what happens to the conditions too. They disappear with it. Because that's what causes the conditions in the first place. It's kind of like simple concept here, isn't it? It's a very simple concept, but it's true and it's real. And that's why when Nicole went from vegetarian cooked to raw living foods, it changed her whole life. She got more enzyme activity going on. She's more alive, more excited, more happier, more everything. Slimmer, trimmer, more energetic. And I would say that if you were to actually add Lifezime with your meals from this point on, it will even take you to another level in health. Because you know what? I was already on raw living foods already when I found out about this cancer friend. But when I saw it go away and disappear, and then I studied and learned about all this, and then studied all the soil throughout the country and how deficient it is, I incorporated them. And I thought, well, what do I got to lose? They're just plant enzymes, it's not going to hurt me, right? But then when I started using them consistently over time, I noticed myself doing better, digesting better, feeling better, eliminating better, processing better. Everything was better. And then as I kept doing it year after year after year, I just noticed, and people look at me and they go, Lou, you don't look like you're, 60 or 50 or 63 or whatever age it was. And I go, well, I think I'll just keep taking these enzymes and keep living the same way I'm doing because what I've been taught has been working, you know. Another thing, if you eat heated fats, whether it's animal-based or vegetarian-based, if they're heated, fried foods, okay, if it goes in your system in that way, then what happens, you end up using an enzyme in your body called lipase. It's an enzyme that breaks down fat into fatty acids. When you become lipase enzyme deficient, then you end up with a bunch of undigested fats that turn rancid. And when that happens, then you end up with chronic inflammatory conditions. You end up with psoriasis, cardiovascular conditions, plaquing in the arteries, which leads to heart attacks, cellulite, high blood pressure, fatty tumors, and so on. This is what happens. That's why I'm saying that when you learn how to clean, detoxify, and how to digest all that undigested material in your body, clean up the system, these little critters go away, and the conditions go away with it. This is what makes it so exciting on a physical level. So it's one thing to learn how to get your thoughts in the right place and put your heart in the right place and learn these 4 principles and all, but learn how to feed yourself in a powerful way. This here, I just want to mention just a little bit about probiotics because they're important. They're very, very important to us because, you see, these friendly bacteria that you can learn about, and there's many different kinds, but what we've done is we've taken a really powerful 5 bacterial strains, put them together, they work synergistically together, very, very powerfully, non-dairy, and the great thing is that now we're using it to give it to people at nighttime before they go to bed, so they can reestablish good intestinal flora, which you want to have a good army of friendly bacteria running through your intestinal tract. We also show people how to make almond coconut yogurt with it. So we know these days by law, they make sure to pasteurize they make the farmers pasteurize the almonds before they go into the health food stores. So I took some initiative and brought some almonds with me because they're hard to get through a friend. So through a friend, they're 5-pound bags of almonds, and you can get them for, I think they're $47 for a bag of almonds. Unless they get shipped to your door, I think it's 20 more, so I think it's $63. No, let's see, $67. Yeah, $67 if it gets shipped to your door, because he ships them all over the world. But the thing is, you want to get unpasteurized almonds. Then we soak them for minimum 12 hours, preferably 24 hours, like I do. But then you can blend them up with some coconut meat and coconut water into a cream, let it sit for 6 hours, it turns into yogurt. And you can use Life Biotic to do that. And what I'm saying here is when you got good friendly bacteria going on in your system, now you can manufacture the B complex, B6, B3, B12, and so on. You can have a nice, clean, healthy intestinal tract. And when you go to the bathroom, it's easy to digest, easy to eliminate, easy to and when you go to the bathroom, you don't have to hope or wonder or pray about it anymore. You can just have a natural urge, you sit down, you go to the bathroom like normally, soft easy eliminations, faint odor if anything, and that's it, done, simple, clean, run efficient. That's the idea. It's not happening with most people. Most people, when they go to the bathroom, they have stereo systems, they have TVs, they have books, magazine racks, and they sit there. Some people don't have any of that. They just sit there and hope and pray and wonder if they're going to go or not go. And then when they finally do go, they grunt, they strain, they squint, they work very hard trying to get that stuff out of their system. And then when it finally gets out of their system, and they go and they leave that bathroom, they're done with business. The person who really suffers above and beyond them is the person who goes in that bathroom after they just left. If you know what I mean by that. I'm just saying that is not the way it was supposed to be. We're not supposed to have bad breath. We're not supposed to be so rotten and have bad breath. We're not supposed to have, putrid matter coming out of our bodies. That we're so wicked that they have to use these. That's why I told you, we have $1 billion industry called the laxative industry, but we also have another multi-billion-dollar industry called the air freshener business. They have to use air fresheners to offset this wicked, evil odor that is so prevalent in the bathrooms these days. And I'm saying, if you've got good friendly bacteria going on in your system, that's not going to happen. And if you're digesting really well, not going to happen. So what we're trying to advocate here, try to do your best to follow the 4 principles. Eat fresh, raw, living foods. Get away from the cooked, processed chemical foods, genetically modified foods and all that, and just getting to some organic, plant-based, easy, or enzyme, more rich digestive foods, and take some powerful enzymes with your food, because it'll help you compensate. The enzymes you saw, the oatmeal demonstration, and just liquefied that oatmeal and pre-digested it, I just want to give you one little glimpse about this. When you pre-digest your food like this, we just showed you, when it goes into your intestinal tract, it's over 20 feet long. Every section of that tube feeds every section of your body. So as it's passing through that 20 feet inside, that's coiled up inside your body, it's feeding every section of your body. Your body's absorbing it, right? Using it, metabolizing it, converting it into energy, muscle, hair, skin, and bones. But when it goes into the colon, which is a few feet in your body, this is where the waste comes out. By that time, you end up eliminating a soft, easy formed elimination with a faint odor, if any. And you run clean and efficient. That's the key to a good quality life. Does that make sense? That's what we want. Now, if you want to take advantage of, getting some Lysozymes, I think there's some order forms in the back if you want them, and also with a reminder of the 4 principles, and so you can begin to start implementing them. But Lysozyme is the one thing outside of the 4 principles that I would say that would behoove you to take 4 or 5 with each meal from this point on for the next 100 or 200 years while you're here. It'd be a good idea, because it's definitely going to help offset and put the life back into your food. The reason we call them Lysozyme is because LIYF, it says life, right? But it's an acronym. It means life in your food. Let's put life in the food. The only like I said before, the reason I use them is because I already know that organic live food that I eat for many years has 30 to 80% enzyme and mineral deficiencies. That's why I do it, to compensate so I can maximize my digestion of the food I'm eating to get the most out of it. That's why I do it. But for people who eat cooked food, it would be definitely a huge advantage for them to compensate and put that life back in. Because there is no life food, no life enzymes, life force within cooked food at all. So if you eat dead food, you just have to know from now on, if you eat dead food, cooked food, when it goes in your system, you are going to use more of your enzymes to digest it more than you make, and you will become enzyme deficient. It will accelerate the aging process, and it will set you up from all kinds of conditions into the future if you're already dead and don't have something going on now. So if you want to begin to start offsetting that, it would be a good idea to consider Lysozyme, at least this one thing. Secondly, if you want to consider doing what I do, then you might consider Life Biotic. The second thing I would say. Because Life Biotic is a really powerful probiotic. It has 5 bacterial strains in it, works synergistically together. And I only like to take a spoonful at night before I go to bed and switch it with a little bit of water. Great for your system, great for your intestinal tract. But I also like to make my yogurts out of it, because I make sprouted almond coconut yogurt, macadamia yogurt or macadamia coconut yogurt, same thing with Brazil's nuts, same thing with walnuts and pecans and pine nuts and sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, chia seeds. I mean, you can make all kinds of yogurts out of all kinds of nuts and seeds. Amazing. Amaranth, quinoa. I mean, it's just endless. You can make all kinds of different cultures of seeds and nuts. The thing is, you can make amazing smoothies, dressing, soups, dips, parfaits, ice cream with these yogurts. It's endless. Here's the great thing about that, is that when you take nuts and seeds and do what I'm saying, soak them up and do this to it, and it turns into yogurt in about 6 hours, 6-7 hours, depending on the temperature you're in. Here's the thing. If you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of protein amino acids, fatty acids, carbohydrates in a bioavailable format, and enjoying it with fruits and vegetables and berries and all that kind of stuff, you're going to get what you need, and it's going to be successful. You'll be successful in doing that. I've been doing it for 42 years. It's been working quite successfully. Now I'm going to do one last demonstration, and after that, I'm done. Then after that, I'm going to open it for questions if you have any. And if you don't, that's okay. I'd love you just the same. Now here's the thing. This next demonstration I'm going to do is, before I can either give you the demonstration or maybe just cover a couple more things. Because, knowledge is powerful, and I give you the two most important things that you need to consider maybe implementing into your life. There's a couple more that you might or may not be ready for, but I'll just toss it at you. And if you want to take it on, you can if you want, whatever. This one here is called Life Essentials. It's a whole food protein complex. When I make my yogurts out of nuts and seeds, I actually enhance it with Life Essentials. Because Life Essentials has all the amino acids, it's got a lot of tocotrienols, tocopherols, which is natural vitamin E, great for the brain function, great for the regenerating liver, great for the skin, great for the hair, nails, and stuff like that. So I really enjoy enhancing the nutritional value of my yogurts, smoothies, dressings, and soups with Life Essentials. Another one you might consider is called Pura Cleanse. It's a superior blend of specialized herbs that help clean, detoxify the bowels. Some people need a little bit of help on that. So they just take a tablespoon of 6 ounces of water or 6 ounces of orange juice in the morning, mix it up real good, and then drink it. And wait 45 minutes to an hour before you do anything else. Let it go to work. Let it do what it does, because it works. And it's very gentle, it's non-habit forming, and it's not aggressive or harsh, very gentle, and non-addictive. It's very, very healthy, a very good thing to do. And people love it. And it really helps them clean, detoxify, and pull out the toxins out of their system. So it's been very helpful. Pure Life, it's a probiotic like Life Biotic, but except it's a little bit more powerful in the fact that we enhanced it with what they call proteolytic enzymes along with the Life Biotic. That's why we call it Pure Life, because it's more therapeutic. So it's more aggressive when it goes after putrefied protein. So some people like to use this. They take about 10, 15 at night before they go to bed because it's calciform at this point. And I believe the last one, Purazyme. Purazyme is 3 times stronger than the enzymes you saw earlier with the oatmeal. These are highly concentrated enzymes that are used to take between the meals on an empty stomach. So if you have a sense that you have an accumulation of undigested proteins, carbs, and fats trapped in your system, Purazyme is going to take this on an empty stomach an hour or more before meals or 2 hours or more after meals. And when you take Purazyme, you start off with 3 capsules 3 times a day, empty stomach. Remember, an hour or more before meals or 2 hours or more after meals. But when you use it in that way, that means it works systemically. That means it works in your system. It gets into your bloodstream. And it'll actually help you get rid of and help you digest the undigested proteins, carbs, and fats trapped in your system, that's accumulated in your system. But it goes a little further than that. It begins to start breaking down mucoid plaquing in the intestinal tract. It helps to get rid of protein plaquing, mineral plaquing, fat plaquing, including the undigested proteins, carbs, and fats trapped in your system. So it's a very powerful enzyme to take between your meals, empty stomach, therapeutically. So it can work systemically within your body. And as you can handle 3 capsules 3 times a day after several days, and you feel ready, you can go to 4 3 times a day, and gradually work it up to 10 3 times a day. To give you an idea, if I can get my nephew Dave Gainer's here tonight, if I can get him up here to share just a little glimpse of his story, you'll be profoundly blown away and inspired by what he says. But he was blasting about 10. He worked up to 10 5 times a day of the Purazyme between the meals, empty stomach. But 104 days later, that tumor was gone. But if he tells it himself to you, it'd be more powerful than me saying it, because it's coming right from him. You know, he's my nephew. I've known him all his life. And he was one of those people that was born, raised, and lived in this lifestyle, but walked away from it at a young age, and he paid a dear price for it. But it's all good, because everything works out for the good, you know. Anyhow, if you're going to get some tools in your kitchen, you might consider the Green Star Elite Juicer, because to me, this is the best juicer out there. It's a twin gear type juicer, and I love this juicer. It's awesome. I use it every day for years and years and years. The dehydrator Sedona, I like that one because it works really well. It's easy to control, easy to work with. It's an awesome, probably the best dehydrator out there. And if you get a good blender, like Total Blend, it works really well. There's different blenders you can use, but get something strong enough to handle the job. That's over a horsepower, and it's very reasonably priced, and it works. You can get it all through Puradyne. It's all available through you. Puradyne is the name of the company that we formed and created for a reason. to create a paradigm shift in consciousness and how people live today through these 4 principles, and provide tools and support and resources to help people cross over to a lifestyle that will serve them and serve them well. Because through these principles and through these teachings and these tools that I'm talking about, people will actually be able to cleanse, heal, regenerate themselves, take it on, and have a great life out of it. That's why we did it. That's why we created it. It was just a dream 42 years ago to one day be able to make these principles available to the world and create tools and support for people and resources and things that can help people cross over to a powerful life. So in the vision, in the future, beyond that, one day we envision creating raw gourmet restaurants, raw culinary schools that teach people how to make raw living culture foods, organic juice bars, smoothie bars in different parts of the world, private schools that actually teach people not only education and curriculum, but also teach people how to grow food, how to prepare it, how to live in a really powerful way. Beyond that, 7 healing centers, one on each continent, where people can come from all over the world to these healing centers, and they can really learn the truth of how to cleanse, heal, and regenerate themselves. They need the support. They need the help and support how to do it. They need to be taken care of and handled with people that can love and care for them and bring, so they can allow them to heal and regenerate. In my humble opinion, these are the kind of places where people can come to a place where it's self-contained, self-reliant, it has a big garden, big orchard, and people can actually live inside this realm that I'm talking about. And they can actually learn how to cleanse, heal, regenerate, and get support and to boot. And it can rest and recuperate and heal from whatever they got going on in this life. That's the kind of place that I'm talking about would be more, I think, better than what's available today. So people can actually experience true cleansing, true healing, and restoration. So they can go on with a good life. That's my humble opinion. And that's what we envision to do, and that's what we're working ourselves to do. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'm so grateful to have had this chance to share whatever I was able to share in a nutshell and give you a glimpse, probably more than I normally would have done. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, and thank you for just, being attentive. But if you have any questions, this would be a great time to ask it, because I got a few more minutes left, so I can do that. Yes.
My roommate, I got him interested in this, and he's had phenomenal results, but he has a friend that has MS. Wanted me to ask you what's one thing that person could do.
Somebody has MS or cancer, diabetes, or whatever disease there is. Bottom line is, if you get the message tonight, you'll understand it's related to toxemia. So whether it's cancer, MS, fibromyalgia, whatever it is, we all need to oxygenate, we all need to hydrate, we all need to get our enzyme levels back up and get our flora back up, clean, flush out the whole system. So to be able to give you specifics and all that kind of stuff, that person like that, if they really want to get well and they're ready to take responsibility, willing to do whatever it takes, those are the kind of people that need a little bit more than just give you 15 seconds of solutions. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm saying is if anybody in this room need to have that one-to-one type of coaching or support in that way, then just call Paradigm, ask for someone like myself, or I might refer you to somebody that can help teach, train, coach somebody how to cleanse, heal, regenerate themselves and get back to a state of wellness, providing that they're prepared to take full responsibility for themselves and willing to do whatever it takes and have the means to do whatever they need to get to make it happen for themselves. I'm not here to promise anything, guarantee anything to anybody, because I'm not here to make any claims or anything like that, because I'm not about that. I'm just a guy that, just like you. I'm a person just like you that suffered. I had a lot of pain, a lot of agony, fear of dying and all that, but I learned some things. And I learned how to live in a very powerful way, in an amazing way, in a way that can free people worldwide. And if somebody wants to listen to what I'm saying and they feel me and they hear what I'm saying and they can see through what I'm saying and talking about, well, bless their heart. Then take this on, implement it, and make a life with it. And have a great life as I've had. And more merit to you. So, anybody have any other questions? Oh, by the way, I just want to remember to say one thing about this. When it comes to almonds, if you want to get almonds, you want to get the good unpasteurized almonds without the chemicals and all that, kind of the ones I use, they're hard to get. And I just have a few bags in the back of the room, and you have access to them. But right now, they're $47 till you're here. But if you have to call and order them, they're, I believe, $67. And if you're going to want to get some through the mail, then you basically go to rawbunch@gmail.com, or you can also call the phone number to Bruce and just dial 949.
Harky. The almonds.
Don't worry about that right now,
Oh.
bro. If you want to call the phone number, it's 949-922-0919. And so again, rawbunch@gmail.com or 949-922-0919. That will give you access to be able to get almonds when you need them. They come in 5-pound bags. But they will serve you because they're the king of the nuts. King of the nuts. I personally don't like cashews because they're hard to digest and they're fattening, and they're, for me, after my friend ate some cashews in Brazil, his mouth got all burny and sores, open sores in his mouth, and I did it once myself, and I don't feel at my best when I eat cashews. Not for me anyway. So what you have to do is you do what you do, eat what you eat, and if it works for you, fantastic. And if it doesn't work for you, listen to that and don't do it. But I'll tell you this, for me, almonds. And I have maybe 2 people in 42 years that have they have allergies to almonds or allergic reactions to almonds, like an almond intolerance. Some people have dairy intolerances, some people have intolerance to different foods or whatever. I've had 2 people, and as soon as I show them how to soak those almonds for 24 hours, and they make milk with it, or they make yogurt with it, they haven't had any problems. And these are highly allergic people to almonds. And those are 2 people in 42 years. And after that, they were able to use them quite successfully. And then I found out, because they were using the chemical ones, the cooked ones, the pasteurized ones. But as soon as I got them into the unpasteurized, no chemical ones, and showed them how to soak them up and germinate them, and make milk or yogurts with it, they didn't have any problems at all. And it builds good muscle. Oh, one last thing I want to do before I go. And I forgot. People always ask me that question. People ask me this question. They ask me the question, if you live on this lifestyle and live on raw living cultured foods and follow the 4 principles and take enzymes with your meals and this and that and everything else, they ask me that question. Can you actually get enough protein from living this way? So then I say 2 things. I say, one, the gorilla lives this way, and the gorilla is 700 pounds of muscle, and he doesn't cook anything. The gorilla doesn't cook anything. He doesn't use a wok, he doesn't use a microwave, he doesn't cook a thing. He eats everything fresh, everything raw. He enjoys a lot of greens, fruits, seeds, bamboo, and he's 700 pounds of muscle, and no one messes with a gorilla. No one, right? So, another thing. I've been doing it 42 years, and I've been doing about 20 minutes of rebounding or breath work or stretching and things like that since 1970, since I graduated from high school. For a guy that virtually hasn't worked out at the gym or calisthenics and weightlifting like I used to do in high school, I'm going to do a couple things for you. And then if you feel comfortable enough to come up here and try it, please come up here and try it, see what happens. Or when you go home tonight, try it, see what happens. Because these 2 things I'm going to do, what it demonstrates is if you have enough core energy, if you have core energy going on, even if you don't work at the gym, you have great strength and great power going on. You feel great, you digest well, eliminate great, and you have a lot of energy, a lot of strength, a lot of power. If that's what you're looking for, then that's why you might consider these 4 principles. Okay? So while I'm about ready to do that, while I'm preparing, is Dave here?
Yeah.
Dave, while I'm getting myself prepared for the pike and the plank, would you share just a glimpse of a little bit about your story? I mean, you got 5 minutes. Can you do it for us?
Yeah.
Would you be willing?
You guys up for a little bit more time here? Everybody all right with
You
that?
guys got 5 more minutes? Okay.
Luke, can you throw me your key?
Sure.
Sorry.
So for those of you guys that don't know me, which is most of you guys in here, my name is David Gaynor, and Lou Corona's my uncle, and so I was raised in the family that promoted raw, vegan, vegetarian lifestyle, and so I was raised in that environment as a kid. But as a kid, I rebelled from just everything that my family was doing, so I went completely the opposite direction. Kind of did my own thing. I'm going to keep it to 5 minutes because I could easily share an hour testimony with you guys with all the things that I've been through in my life and some of the stuff that I've experienced. But, you know, I rebelled, I ran. It turned from a food rebellion into just straight up rebellion itself. I got into drugs, I got into alcohol, just toyed with it to the point where it became a part of my lifestyle. Graduated high school, barely, ended up in jail, spending the night in jail, getting bailed out by my dad. And finally I decided, okay, well I need to do something with my life, and that's when I joined the military. I joined the military service, ended up stationed over in Italy, parachuted into Iraq in 2003, spent a year over there. I missed the birth of my firstborn daughter and met her for the first time when she was 3 months old. I came back home from a year over there and had a lot of pain in my heart, and I went right back to what I knew. I went right back to self-medicating, eating comfort foods and doing things that made me feel good, even though, well, I thought they made me feel good. But this time it was different. It wasn't just me. I had my wife, I had my kids, and basically just lived a real destructive life pattern. I hit rock bottom. I was on the verge of divorce, and my life turned around. It was March, would have been March 23rd, I believe, of 2008 when I surrendered my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what did it for me. I gave my life to Jesus, and I just felt the Holy Spirit just convicting me and leading me and guiding me. Got out of drugs, walked away from that stuff, got into the scriptures, and just started just turning my life around and just seeking Christ and walking towards Him the best that I could and the best that I knew how. Lots of prayer, stuff like that. And but I still didn't kick the emotional eating, so I still had that. I taught and educated and did all the things that I knew that my family had done, so I was working with people on how to eat, what not to eat, what happens if you eat like this, what doesn't happen, how to heal, how not to heal. I was doing all of it intellectually up here, and then I was clocking out at the end of the day and cruising through Taco Bell, you know, and getting a couple burritos or going by, you know, and getting a bacon cheeseburger and just doing the complete opposite of what I was teaching. I was being a hypocrite, right? So just leading this completely hypocritical lifestyle. The first time that I went raw wasn't because I was sick or anything. It was because my uncle was over, staying at the house, and my wife was really into healthy living and everything. And he was showing her the works and giving education and stuff, and he could kind of sense that I was still balking the situation a little bit. And so, knowing my personality, he turned around and kind of challenged me a little bit. Hey, you know, you couldn't even live this lifestyle for 5 days. And I kind of, what? I could do it for 5 days? What do you mean I can't do this? You know, I puffed up. My pride kind of, you know, got the best of me there. And I ended up rocking for 76 days. 76 days in, I thought that nothing could stop me. I was unbeatable. I was unstoppable. And a family member of mine, my sister, waved a slice of cheese pizza in front of me. And she was just teasing me a little bit. And I kind of puffed up. I'm like, oh, I'm on it now. I can do a little bite of that. Give me a little bite. And so I took a little bite of it, and that was the end of it. It was one bite, then one slice, then 2 slices, then my niece's slice, and then I left the house, right? And I go over to my buddy's house. I'm like, you guys hungry? No, man, we already ate. Are you sure? I'm going to order a pizza for us, man. I'll pay. You know? And so I order this pizza, and I order a medium because nobody else wants to eat, and I eat this whole medium pizza to myself. And then I ordered another one, and I slammed that one to myself too. So it was like I was literally, for me, it was one bite away that brought me right back into that addiction, right back into that food addiction, and I just collapsed. And so then I was right back into this vicious cycle of the food addiction again, you know, except for it was worse. It was like 10 times worse than it ever was before. Because I'd experienced the difference, and it was like, I knew it was a drug, and I was fueling on it. And so anyhow, right back into that situation, and then it was February of last year that I was actually working out a little bit prior to that, and thought that I had strained my groin, but it ended up, when I went into the doctor, I ended up being diagnosed with a testicular tumor. And so then I had to face the facts. Did I believe in what I was teaching and what I was helping people with? Did I believe in what I was helping parents who would come to me and go, look, my son has, or my wife has, or my daughter has, and I would pour into them all this information because they were seeking the alternative means to healing versus, you know, what doctors and surgeries and radiation and stuff like that. And did I believe in that? Did I believe in this guy right here? Did I believe in what he was doing? Did I believe in the people that he was helping? Did I believe in the information that he was teaching? Did I really believe in what we were doing? Or not? And I did. But it wasn't enough for me. Even knowing that it was real, it still wasn't enough for me. And rather than do the work, rather than buckle in and start cleaning up my life and stopping to justify the things that I was doing in my life, I was thinking, I'm just going to go get this tumor cut out. I'm going to go get this tumor cut out, even if it cost me, you know, even if it cost me my left testicle, at whatever cost. I mean, in a roundabout way, I was willing to trade my left testicle for a slice of pizza, if you want to put it in that perspective. You know? You hear a lot of people say, I'd trade it for $1 billion, and here I am about to trade it for a slice of pizza. But anyway, that was the reality of it. I literally was willing to go to get surgery at that point in my life because I wanted to continue eating the way that I was eating, and I wanted to continue living the way I was living, and I didn't want to change my lifestyle, and I didn't want to change anything about what I was doing. But what really convicted my heart was the inability to be able to stand before all of you guys and anybody else who's willing to hear the message that when you start eating foods that God created for you to eat, and I understand that they're not, maybe everybody in here has different perspectives, and I love you all just the same, no matter where you are in your journey. But for my faith, when you start eating the food that God created for us, for the bodies that God created, and you bring that together, that it brings healing, and it eliminates disease, and it wipes out things. And the reality of when you put something that's toxic into your body, you're going to have a toxic result. The end result's going to be toxic every single time. Within 3 minutes of a gastric dump from the toxic food that you eat into the small intestines, within 3 minutes it affects the villi. It starts scarring up the villi that are in your body, and those are what are in charge of, I'm sure you heard him say it earlier, absorbing the nutrients into your body. And so the reality of it for me was that it was more than just my own selfishness. My own selfishness was the willingness I would have had to walk away from the work I was doing. I would have had to walk away from what my family was teaching. I would have had to go start a different life and get a different job and do different work and trade the ability to be able to stand up and tell you guys that in 104 days, my tumor completely dissolved 100%. And I had doctors just flabbergasted. I mean, literally 2 more ultrasounds they wanted to do just to double check, and an MRI, because they were looking for this thing that was prominently there at one point and completely gone 104 days later, when literally they had me scheduled for surgery, and they were going, you know, you need to think about this, you need to get in here, and giving me those scare factors. And so that was a lot of what helped me decide to go the direction that, plus the support. I had the support. I had my family. I had the love of Lou and you know, even Starm and some of the people that backed Lou up. I had these people that God had brought into my life specifically, Dan and his videos, and just all the wealth of information that was before me, all that I knew intellectually, and all the support that I had around me. And then the ability to be able to pay it forward and help change other people's lives. How many of you guys out there right now, whether it's you that's sick or you've been sick, know somebody who's sick with one of the diseases or one of the symptoms that maybe you've heard in here tonight? Does anybody know anybody that's sick? Almost every single one of us in here knows somebody who's sick and who's suffering. And doctors are saying that some of these things like Crohn's disease, doctors are telling people that people have to live with Crohn's disease for the rest of their lives. And I can tell you right now, I've been working with people personally just since my experience and my coming through who have completely wiped it out. They had 4 fistulas, their Crohn's disease, they were pooping blood, and now those fistulas are closed up, they're having normal bowel movements, and they're going back to work. And I'm not claiming, just so that we can be clear here, I'm not claiming that the enzymes are healing them, that the tools, the juicers, or anything like that's healing them. What I am claiming is that the body knows how to heal itself. Our bodies have the ability and the power to be able to heal themselves. And when you get cut, you watch and witness that miracle every single time. What happens when you get cut? What does your body do? Anybody?
Heals.
It heals. Exactly. It heals itself. And it'll do the same thing on the inside. Whatever damage is going on the inside, your body will repair and it will heal itself. All we have to do is give the nutrients to our bodies without the toxins, without the stuff that destroys or cuts or damages the inside of our body. If we give our body the building blocks to repair itself, our body will do exactly that. And for me, it's first and foremost, my cellular communication is the Lord Jesus Christ. It's through prayer first and foremost. Okay? Prayer, and then doing the work. The exercise, the cellular exercise, the cellular communication, right? Thinking in a very powerful pattern, being grateful for everything that we consume, all these raw living foods that we take in, being grateful and knowing, not wondering, not hoping, not thinking, will this or will this not, but knowing the power of the foods that we're eating. These foods, science shows, are healing for our body. They know that garlic is anti-tumoral, anti-cancerous. You don't have to wonder if that's going to take care of some of that business when you consume it. You just have to be grateful for it when you're consuming it. Be thankful when you're eating those raw living foods that they're going to powerfully strengthen your body and bring your body exactly to where it is that they need to be. Anyway, like I said, I can ramble on here, guys, but thanks for listening to my story, and I hope that
As soon as he said the word power, all of a sudden I got up and said, okay, well, let's just show, because, we can talk all day, all night about all these wonderful things, but really, they say that demonstration beats conversation. So I'll just do a couple things real quick, and then if you have maybe one more question, maybe I can address it at that point. But you notice how when Dave shared his story, it was a lot more powerful than the way I said it? You can see why I took advantage, why he's here, because, we're based out of Washington State, but he's here right now, and I'm staying here for a while because I'm working on some recordings and stuff. So I'm very grateful that he took the initiative to share part of his life with you, because very simple, but very powerful. And he had to be very humble and very vulnerable to share what he did. I'm very thankful for that. Thank you, Dave. Well, the first one is the pike. The pike is my record 3 minutes. I'm just going to give you a little glimpse of 2 things. The next one's the plank. My record on that one's 7 minutes. I'm going to do a fingertip.
What's that one called?
Pike. That's the plank. Any volunteers? Oh, we got a volunteer. Yeah.